This is the first video of this series that I'm making for a project at Texas Tech University. I am trying a bunch of different ways to see what is the best effective or the most effective way to record some of these instruments in a recording space. Right now for this video specifically, I have just a Zoom H6 recorder with the XY mic and an iPhone on a tripod. Okay, so today I'm going to be going over how to hit a large mallet instrument. So when I qualify those, I think of the marimba, I think of a vibraphone, and I think of a xylophone. All right. So when you hit a large mallet instrument, it is different than when you would approach a small mallet instrument like the bell kit or the glockenspiel, whatever you want to call it, because you have to use much more force or velocity, and you're not going to be hitting it with a delicate, sensitive technique. Most percussionists start off on those small instruments, and then by the time they get to high school, they have to jump on one of these, and they're a little unfamiliar with it. So first off, I'm going to talk about the three-finger fulcrum, which is a through line throughout this whole series that I'm going to be making. So, to make your three-finger fulcrum, you pinch your first finger and your thumb. You actually want to pinch here, and we're talking about pinch for the first time here, so just be careful. When you pinch here, you want to alleviate the pressure that you're making by putting on your third finger. So you should have the same control over the stick that you have with 2 fingers and a pinch with 3 fingers and no pinch. It should be totally relaxed, and someone should be able to come up and pull it out of your fingers at any time. Cool. So that's going up about 1/3 from the bottom of the stick or the mallet, that 3-finger fulcrum, right? You're going to line it up right with the last knuckle on your index finger and the pad underneath that, and then in the middle pad of your middle finger. That's where the 3-finger fulcrum is going to lie, making sure your thumb is on and does not slip off to either side. You don't want to have the caveman grip, as I like to call it, where your thumb is sliding off. Yeah? So, the rest of your fingers after this 3-finger fulcrum just kind of go along for the ride, and they will do other things as we get into faster tempos and playing more dense rhythms. But first off, you got to have that 3-finger fulcrum. That's your control point, and those are just along for the ride. So when you strike a large mallet instrument, you want to strike about a 1/2 inch or an inch underneath the resonator. So these metal pipes underneath are the resonators. Every bar has a resonator underneath it in the middle. So if you hit right underneath the resonator, that's about an inch behind the resonator, it's going to be this nice full rich tone. Where you drift more towards the center, you're going to have not as rich of a tone, especially on the low end of the keyboard. You play right in the middle, that's what you're getting, and if you play a little bit south of center, you just fill the room a little bit more with your sound. As you get up to the higher ends of the keyboard, you're probably going to have to aim more for the actual center of the instrument. So, you have that option of hitting a little bit south of center on the resonator. Or if you're playing one of the black keys, the accidentals on the top, the elevated part of the large keyboard instrument, you could play on the very edge of the note. You can choose. You have 2 designated spots, a little south of center in the actual middle of the bar, or if you're playing a fast passage where you need to just jump up quickly to the top, you can play on the very edge. What you want to steer clear of is hitting the rope, which is what we call the node. The node is the spot in the instrument that does not resonate as well. So that's your center. Here's your node. So a lot of inexperienced players will play in the middle on the lower keys and play on the node on the top. So you're hearing, if I play that scale, I'm totally missing this B flat. That was in the center. Here's the node again. especially with a softer mallet like I have here, hitting on the node, I'm not changing my velocity at all here. The node just makes it so much softer. All right? As you go up to the top here, you might have to use a little bit more velocity depending on what kind of a mallet you have. And as you go to the bottom of the instrument down here, you're going to want to ease up your touch a little bit and use some less velocity. If you have to play a loud passage at the bottom of the marimba, or the bottom of any large keyboard instrument, you have a better chance of cracking the wood in the bar if you hit it too hard. So you want to be a little more delicate at the end here, and think about filling the room with your sound and not necessarily hitting harder or with more velocity. Just judge your sound based on what's actually happening and use your musicianship to hear, are you playing at an appropriate dynamic level. Right? I'm not hitting as hard as I would have to here to make that sound. You don't want to crack these bottom bars. They're the most expensive bars on the instrument because they're the biggest, and they're the ones that tend to crack the most. On the xylophone that's back there that we're not using today because some of the bars at the bottom are cracked, that happens a lot, right? You get excited, you play a large passage at the end, and you crack a bar. It happens more with instruments that are made from real wood as well. An instrument like this one, this is a Yamaha Acoustalon 4 1/3 marimba. This is made of a synthetic wood. These bars don't really crack too much up here, but these bars will still crack. They're more durable than a rosewood marimba, but they will still crack, so you have to be careful. All right. Along with that, again, the Acoustalons like this, or the synthetic Paduk, a lot of people use as well, or paddock, whatever you want to call it. Those marimbas technically can go out in the rain. They're built for marching bands. So you could bring this out in the rain and perform with it and just wipe it down and it'll be fine. Where if you bring a rosewood marimba out in the rain, it's going to be trashed up. And you might have to get some new bars for it. So be careful with your instruments and maintain them as well. But we'll do a whole nother video on maintaining your instruments. All right? So thank you for watching today, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.